Um, so let's start with one question. How many of you think that today's conventional technologies, whatever we have in our normal general sense, can solve the cloud security problem? That is, we can use it and tweak it and change it, form the right architecture, and it can solve it. How many of you feel it can solve the problem? None of you. Okay, that's good. So there are some challenges with cloud which are very unique and needs a completely different approach. So I'll come to that. So before that, you all know what is sanctioned IT and what is shadow IT, right? So sanctioned IT is what is known to IT department, and shadow IT is what is not known to the IT department. So let's look at, I'll first talk about the gaps related to software as a service. Like suppose I am using, this place has got some music associated if I walk there. So I'll move here. So one is, let's consider we are using Salesforce. Now what are the challenges with Salesforce which makes security difficult or different, right? So one is I have no control over Salesforce. If I am a user, I don't have control over the data. It is, even if Salesforce encrypts it, if US government asks and tells, give me the data, they have to give it, right? Or I don't know really in Salesforce which user is doing what. I don't have complete kind of user visibility. I don't have the audit trails. Like when I have my own system, my own cloud, I have all these things. And there's no automated threat prevention. We are completely relying on Salesforce or on Microsoft or on Google for their SaaS services. And I don't have those kind of data protection controls. So that is one of the big differences which is there when it comes to cloud. That's for the sanctioned SaaS. For the shadow IT, it's all the same things are there, plus it is that I don't know which user is using what. So CASB is the kind of new technology which has come up where, and by new technology I mean it's actually a kind of complete shift. It cannot be put into some of the earlier buckets of products which we have, where, so CASB kind of, these are brokers. So what it does is it helps you in terms of security enforcement through some means, where it could be there could be various deployment strategies. Gaurav is going to cover that, so I'll skip it. So it could be an inline device or whatever it is, but these CASBs are the brokers which helps you to have data security, visibility, threat protection and compliance on the third-party cloud. So that means I can encrypt my data on Salesforce cloud using my keys. It's not that I can encrypt using Salesforce. So the thing is, if US government takes control over Salesforce data, the government doesn't have the keys. Okay, whereas in the conventional scenario, they were encrypting it and the encryption control was in their hands. So the control shifting to the hand of the user, that's the strategic shift which is happening in the cloud space, that how can I pass on the security control to you rather than having it with me. Okay, because in that case you have to trust me, which is fine, but then there's always a question mark. So what are the use cases? So there are a lot of use cases for CASB. One is for the approved SaaS applications, like you have the CRM, the Office suite, etc., etc. So for these, you now have a lot of security control over that. The other is for shadow IT, and for shadow IT, we really don't have controls like encryption, etc., but we have controls like discovery, risk scoring. So I should be able to know that which are my shadow IT elements, what are people using, what's the risk, having visibility and compliance. So I'm going to cover at a high level the conceptual stuff, and Gaurav is going to go a little bit deeper into the architecture and how it works. So as Priyanka had mentioned, that at CISO platform for every domain we have a taxonomy. Like for example, say in application security, we spent a lot of time, we got the testing. In testing we got SAST, DAST, IAST. Then comes prevention, we got WAF and we got RASP. Then comes deception. In deception we got real-time polymorphism, and we got, I don't know where to put Mykonos in because there's no analysts have given any name for that. but having Mykonos-like technology. So what's the CASB taxonomy? So in CASB, these are the critical controls or critical capabilities, okay? Can you guys see it? Okay, so first is visibility, like how can I have visibility in third-party cloud? So in visibility, we have few aspects like visibility on the user, visibility on the devices, and visibility on the location. And then comes the deployment options, which could be cloud, on-premise, hybrid, or compliance. How can I enforce policy on a third-party control? Today, we have no control over that. But right now, through partnerships or alliances with these cloud vendors, there is a new breed of emerging companies. These are all new companies like Adalom and Sky High Networks and guys like that. So who are coming up with these kind of solutions where they can enforce policies on the third-party cloud. So compliance is one. Then there is policy control. In policy control, we got these 4 elements: DLP, SIEM, MDM integration, etc. Then we have data security. In data security, we have tokenization and encryption. So that means I can encrypt my critical information on Google, like today Google emails, etc. are only encrypted by Google, but eventually you will be able to encrypt your email on third-party cloud, and the keys are with you. That's what is there today. There are guys like Cypher Cloud who does this. Then there is threat prevention, where we try to do anomaly detection, shadow IT, sanctioned apps. So this is the high-level broad taxonomy. So this is just a different view of the same taxonomy. I'll skip the critical capabilities. I'll not go much into the details. These are all the conventional things. This is nothing new as such. You can do logging, auditing, alerting, authentication, all these things, but now using your own infrastructure or your own control. You have complete control, unlike before where the cloud providers had the control. Okay. So we also have this vendor checklist. So where, if you see on you will not be able to see this entirely, but for all these companies like Adalom, BitGlass, Cypher Cloud, Netscope, etc., Zscaler, we have a row where it has, we got all these features, and you can see that which company does what. So this is the mapping of the capability with the vendors. So if any of you are exploring this, all this data for all the domains, not just CASB, is available with CISO platform, and we are providing it whenever you need. We are now creating a better and a very different way of sharing it with everybody, but for that the development work is going on. We are doing some R&D on that, but right now if you need anything, we can just share it with you. So again, I'll not get into the details. I just want to let you know that we have this. Now let's look at the. Yes, so you have to get in touch with us right now, and it's absolutely free. So what are the CASB limitations? One of the CASB limitations is that it supports only limited number of SaaS applications. Like for example, suppose as an example, Sky High will only provide you support for, say, Salesforce and Microsoft Office. So when you get a CASB, it's not like CASB works for everybody. It works only for few SaaS products. And the reason is that you need APIs and there has to be a collaboration between two companies. The second thing is breaking of functionality. This happens quite often with CASB, that there is a new version rollout on the other side, and now the CASB functionality fails. Okay, so if you buy CASB, you have to be careful about that. Interoperability is the other. Then there are some performance and latency challenges also. I don't need to explain that. Now let's look into what's the future of CASB. Okay, so CASB is an entirely new way of doing the old stuff. Okay, because the old stuff couldn't be done on the cloud, so CASB is the new technology which helps you to do the old stuff in a new way. But the stuff which you do is not new, it's old. So in the long run, our belief is that CASB will be acquired by the other larger companies, and it will get integrated into the other solutions, like getting integrated with the web gateways, with SIEM, with encryption, because SIEM doesn't function properly for the cloud, because they don't have the data from the cloud. You can't pull out information which Salesforce doesn't provide. With CASB, you can do that. So finally, CASB is going to get integrated into those. That's what we believe in. And in fact, Adalom is a company which just got acquired by Microsoft, so it already has started happening. So today, CASB is more visibility and compliance focused. It helps you to have more visibility and compliance, or data security focused like encryption, etc. But in future, it will become part of your conventional solution. So today, you might, if cloud security is a big pain point, you should buy CASB today. But if it is not such a big pain point, tomorrow, or a few years later, CASB will become part of your existing vendor solution. That's what our prediction is. We'll have to see how it finally happens. So the recommendations are from CISO platform is that you should understand your CASB requirements well. All vendors in all scenarios. So you might need multi-vendor approach, but obviously that's a pain. You should understand your threat model and use CASB in the right manner. CASB has actually been adopted in a very large scale in US. Any of the companies over here use a CASB solution? None of you. Eventually you will see CASB. In US, the adoption is extremely high. This is like considered one of the hottest thing. Whereas in India, we don't see it at all. So in fact, yeah. Yeah. So CASB is being adopted across verticals, including BFSI. Okay. And checking the integration capability, and also very important is the product roadmap for CASB. So you need to engage with the vendor and find out what's their product roadmap. So that's all on CASB. Now you can see that this is a very different style of presentation, right? In the morning we had sessions by Nilanjan, and this is another session, right? So the entire language is different now. And we purposely made it like that. So as you know that at CISO platform, the focus is more on senior security officers. So this is the language which works better. For those who want more technical details, etc., we are not going to offer that right now in this. Gaurav is going to cover some of it. The goal for the rest of the session is to actually provide you certain insight so that when you go back, you know what's the future of security going to be like. Okay, that's the aim. So that when you strategize, it's going to help you more in strategy and decision making, and not really in coding or mitigating a specific threat. That's the aim for the rest of the session. So Gaurav, we would move to you.